Hi all, it's Wayne from Living with Bikes. Today I got a bit of a special one. I've got two Blackbirds out. So, and they're both 07 Blackbirds, both grey, but in slightly different colour schemes. They've both been painted at some stage. But yeah, so we're taking these bikes out today for a bit of a ride. They're both fresh bikes for the riders. So the one in front of me or further ahead is Lucas, and the one closest to me here is Mark. So Mark's has just had a brand new, the latest model Michelin tyre put on it, and Lucas is running Michelins as well. So, and I'll give you the full rundown on those when we get back. So yeah, today is just a shakedown for these two guys, do some Ks, feel out their new bikes, and if I need to make any fine adjustments for them.
Hi guys, it's Wayne Living with Bikes. Today I just wanted to quickly touch on something which I think is important for anyone that does a YouTube channel, show, whatever you want to call it, and that is that if you're giving away information to people that are watching your show, you should at least know where the information come from, and you should know that it's correct. For me, I've been doing bikes for so many years I can't remember now, but I have to learn any information that I get and then put on my own bikes or my friends' bikes or whatever. I have to learn that from somewhere. So I just wanted to take a second today just to show you that if I take the time to say something, or I take the time to show you what I'm doing with my bikes and friends and family's bikes, is that information, I don't just think, oh, that'll be good viewing. I want you to know that I've researched it, and this is where I'm getting my information from. So today I'll just show you, when we were talking about tyres the other day, whereabouts I got that information from. And what it can do then is that you can go off and you can have a look at it, because the person I'm about to show you, he's got so many YouTube videos and will show you that much stuff from street to the track and whatever you want to do. So I'm going to just quickly show you who he is and where I get my information from. This is just for suspension and for tyre wear, to understand what the tyre is doing. So I'll just quickly show you, and then we'll move on to my little YouTube clip for the Blackbirds, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Okay, so this is who we're looking at. So this gentleman here is Dave Moss. I'm pretty sure he lives in America now, but he's been to New Zealand, Australia. He's been all around the world doing what he does. So it's Dave Moss Tuning, DMT, and out of all the people that I've seen, he takes the time to break it down into its sections and show you exactly what's going on with not just one motorbike, but a whole range, everything from big heavy tourers to, you know, Panigales and all the real, you know, super bikes out there, and right down to like commuter bikes and things like that. And he will ask them, you know, are you commuting? Are you just using it for race? You're just using it for weekends and stuff like that. So that's why I found this very, very interesting. So, alright, so take the time, go and have a look at his site, and I think, you know, you'll get something out of it. Alright, cheers. Hi all, Wayne Living with Bikes, and we've just brought the Blackbirds out for a ride. So the one I'm looking at the moment is Lucas's Blackbird, and then the other one here is Mark's. And this is their first, and you're going to walk in front of the camera, are you, while I'm filming?
Yes.
And then the, not to be outdone, my GDR. So, we've just pulled up here at Merbau North, and the whole idea of this ride is to get some feedback off the bike, so the person riding it can start to tune it to their needs.
And we've just pulled up here and found out, Lucas is just saying that his bike is a little bit oversprung. So when he's in a corner and you're on a proper road, not a racetrack, he's finding that the bike is trying to push him into the corner all the time. In other words, as he hits a bump, instead of the bike soaking up that bump when he's leaned over, it's basically like bucking him, which then makes him want to turn in harder naturally. So we found that out, so he needs to wind his spring off a bit, and then we'll redo the sag on it to make sure that it's right, which is good. That's what we're here for. So he'll just ride the bike today with what he feels comfortable with. It's not unrideable, it's just the fact that it's just a bit rough. It's not the whole point of setting suspension up isn't so you can go faster, it's to make the bike smoother and feel more confidence with the bike. So there you go, so that's all we're doing at the moment. Other than that, we're enjoying our day, aren't we, Luke? It's a nice ride, bikes look beautiful out. And I was just going to have a look at the tyres on them after we've done about 100 k's. So Mark's got the brand new Michelin here, as you can see. Now, what's its actual real name?
Power 5.
It's a Power 5, so it's a 2020 tyre, Power 5. And I can't really at the moment, I can see where you're going to, Mark, but there's not a lot of, because we've been riding very quietly, there's really nothing going on. That tyre's just starting to basically bed in. You haven't even worn the thingos off it yet, but that's good, that's fine. And then Lucas's rear tyre, not as new, he also runs a Michelin, and that tyre, yeah, see, that tyre there is a little bit rough up here and a little bit there, which means that the tyre isn't getting on its power over there. It should. There they are there. Just here. You can see there where there's a line that runs through here, and that's what it is the material's just being pushed, and that's from the bike going over bumps up and down. So the tyre's saying that it is sprung too hard. So anyway, so that's what we've got at the moment. What we're going to do now is get off these main roads and continue down some of the more unused back roads and have a good time. So you boys nearly ready to hit the road again? We're going to go back out of town a little bit, and then we'll take a left and then cross country.
Where to?
So I can't remember the name of it. I saw it once.
Let's go there.
Alright guys, we'll catch you a bit later. Bye. Just stopped in this little town of Meanyang. Meanyang. That's how you say it. Anyway, nice little town, quite bustling.
seeing as we're still in COVID-19, but yeah, quite bustling and going off. People still keeping these distances, which is good. Anyway, this is where we are. And all the girls are sitting there happily outside IGA. And the boys are just in there getting some local bakery, getting a few bits. Every little town has its monuments, doesn't it? This is no different. Probably World War One. I'd have to have a better look at it. What's this one say? 1419. Well, okay, 1418. That's the World War One. So that's what we're looking at there. It's amazing how every town though has one of these, you know, country town. Here's Mark back. How'd you go? Best pie in the world?
Hope so.
Hope so.
Rode a long way to get it.
Alright, we come down to the local service station in Shell, and I borrowed a screwdriver and we got a hammer and all that, but as usual they're pretty tight, so neither of them we can get to crack open that top ring on the shocker, so we'll do it when we get home. Just means we can't do the adjustment on the road as we're riding. That's just how it goes, not to worry. So we'll finish up our ride today. We're still a fair way away from home, but we'll just take it easy and then adjust them up as we go.
So we've swapped over for a minute and I've jumped on Mark's BlackBird. And I must say I haven't ridden it since its new tyre was put on. Not that we're going to ride hard today. It's just nice to feel the difference. A bit of confidence in a corner. Let's go down here and put the brake on. And then, well, here we go, some nice switchbacks. Oh yeah, that's a much nicer feel. Much more positive. Oh, bit of stone, gravel, not enough that it's going to slip us because it was just sort of scattered, but still, don't tempt fate. Yeah, it's a different bike with a really good quality tyre in it. Let it pull me into the corner. Oh, bit wet. I thought it was wet. It's near bitumen. So this throws you up a bit of stuff this road, doesn't it? We haven't been up here before. Mark's screaming in the background at me about how big the bike is for these roads because he's on my GDR. What I didn't realise was I really don't have any back brake that I can use properly because the pedal's way too high. But that's alright, I'm just going to take it nice and easy.
Alright, we have come back from our ride and I'm having a look at Mark's new tyre, which now has 290 k's on it. So, and the tyre has told us, because I only rode this bike for a brief time while we were out today. But in saying that, that makes no difference because my weight and Mark's weight are hugely different. So what is okay for me won't be okay for him, and it's about setting it up for him. So what we found, or what I found on this tyre, and I'll explain the reasons why the tyres do what they do. If you rub your hand across the tyre, you'll generally find that one way it catches your finger, so go like that, and you can see this line I've marked on it here. So this is in front of the groove, which is telling us, and it's a raised section, so when you rub your finger across, it's just slightly raised and it catches your hand, where if you run it the other way, it's smooth on the front and you'll feel the bump on the back. Alright, so we'll get into that in a sec. But so when you rub your hand down and there's this little raised section here where the groove is, that's telling us that the rebound on this bike is too hard for Mark. Alright, again, if you put a heavier person on it, it might be okay, or it might go to the back, and that means that it's too soft or it's rebounding too fast. So basically when you push the bike down and it bounces back, that's your rebound. There's other things to look at, which is your sag and all that, but at the moment we're just concentrating on what we're seeing on the tyre here. Don't worry about how it's wearing and where he's getting on the power and all that right at this point. We're just looking at how the bike is travelling in its suspension to the tyre. Now I actually know that we've done the preload for Mark, so we've picked the bike up and then let it go, let it sag, which is your static sag, and then put him on it and then worked out how much load we've got down. So the thing we're looking at now is where the tyre is. There was a mozzie there, sorry. Where the tyre is running. So at the moment it was too hard because it was starting to flare up the front of this bit of groove. So now what I've done is I've adjusted the suspension, so hopefully it's even between that side and this side. Now what I'll do is I'll take you over and show you Trish's bike, which has been set up for her, and when I've ridden it you can definitely see what I've done to it. So we'll have a look at that. Okay, so looking at Trish's bike, right, her Z1000. So looking at here, when you rub your hand across it, it definitely picks up here. So where I've put the texture there, or the pen, it's flaring here. So there is up. So that says that when I'm riding this bike, the suspension is rebounding back up too fast. Right, so Mark's was too slow at the front. This one's too fast because it's at the back. And it's really only when you're leaned over and the bike is working the suspension as you're leaned over. Because when you're riding on this part of the tyre here, it just gives you a plush ride. It just gives you a, I guess you could say maybe a bit bouncy ride, or just a cushiony ride. But when you're leaned over, that's when it starts making a difference if you want the bike to handle. Okay, so that's what we're doing setting up Mark's. This bike here, because it's ridden by me and it's ridden by Trish, my wife, I should dial in some preload. I haven't spent the time on it because I don't ride it hard. So that's the difference, and that's what we're doing now. Okay, so looking at Mark's bike, the rebound on this one, so that's the rebound. Now, you may think to yourself, oh, that bike, you know, was slow coming up, or it was quick coming up, whatever, you know, the case may be, or it didn't look like my bike when I pushed down in the back. So it's the tyre that will tell you if you're in the right spot or not the feel of it. I mean, as you do them over and over and over again, you can basically work out for yourself, you can start to work out, oh, that's probably what I need. It's around about what I had last time. But the tyre will tell the story, and I've explained before how that happens. So that's how we do it. There's no real secret to it. The tyre will tell you what's going on.